for a lifetime. That's promotion. To understand the promotion of occupational therapy, which is really the focus of this lecture, it's important to understand marketing activities as a whole. For example, inbound marketing is market research to find out what groups of potential customers exist, what their needs are, which of those needs you can meet, and how they should be met. Inbound marketing also includes analyzing the competition, and that's really important because that will help us position a new service to find a market niche, and it helps us with pricing our services. Now, the other side of the coin is outbound marketing. This includes promotion tools such as advertising, personal selling, publicity, sales promotion, public relations, and word of mouth to promote our services. Outbound marketing is where the concept of promotion lies, and again is therefore the focus of this lecture. One outbound marketing tool, business cards, is a simple and very effective promotional tool that each of us can use daily. For example, make sure on your business card you are identified as an occupational therapy practitioner or student. Include a simple definition of occupational therapy using occupation in your definition on the card. Give out 2 cards at all times. One for the person, the other to pass on to another person. You can do this at this conference. I want to see you, wherever you go, handing out 2 cards. You want to make sure that you do it to people that you don't know and just say, play it forward. Pass that other card to someone else. The most important outbound marketing tool is still word of mouth. Studies show that clients still trust friends and family members for recommendations. A personal experience or the retelling of that experience to a friend or family member still has the greatest impact on a brand or reputation. Personal interactions create strong impressions. Our goal must be to communicate the value and benefits of occupational therapy in every interaction. Always identify yourself as an occupational therapy practitioner or student. Lead by example, by sharing what you do with everyone wherever you are. Standing in line in the supermarket, waiting for your children at a gymnastics, sitting on a plane, train, bus, and a quick example, I sat next to someone from Microsoft. He was locked in the seat for 2 hours next to me. By the time I got off the plane, he said, why don't you apply for a grant? You never know. For example, on your return home from the AOTA conference, introduce yourself to people sitting next to you on the bus, on the plane, or the train. Give them an example of the value of OT. You could say something like, occupational therapy helps people stay in their homes by enhancing safety. Maybe you'll get a grant too. I call that the what's in it for me factor. If those people go home and share this interaction with their friends and family members, 5 to 10 more people know about the value of occupational therapy. So, my challenge to you is to ask your clients to share their own occupational therapy success stories with their family and friends. You, in turn, with their permission, of course, could share these stories with your local media. It's the job of every single one of us to promote occupational therapy, and our clients can help us. How do we tailor our words, images, and actions to meet the needs of our various markets? One important fact to keep in extent to which demographic and psychographic information, as well as behavioral factors, affect the audience's response, as Cooter and colleagues point out in their book, Tailoring Health Communication. Behavioral factors include beliefs, attitudes, health knowledge, skills, resources, and barriers to health. I'll offer an example of a campaign that took these factors into account when trying to educate a particular constituency about health. In a campaign to promote healthier eating among a Latino Hispanic population, the healthcare consultant took into account socioeconomic, educational, and cultural differences, as well as age, use of media, and reactions to influencers, such as politicians, faith-based community, law enforcement, and the Latino community leaders. They also forged partnerships to influence behavior, including very productive partnerships with restaurants, who they urged to incorporate healthier menu options. The key to the campaign's communications were their link to trusted community members and the incentive they gave to people to improve their own health. Kielhofner et al. In 2004 wrote, and I quote, "The ultimate rationale for the value of any service is that it legitimately addresses identified client needs." Therefore, part of communicating the value of what occupational therapy has to offer requires making sure that our work closes the gap between a client's occupational desire and their current situation. That is, communication and intervention always should be client-centered. For example, a study by Helfrich et al. In 2011 began with the premise that homeless shelters offered group educational programs that address community reintegration, but did not teach independent living skills in a way that allows for practice, integration, retention, and generalization to occur. The study noted that there was a positive association between the ability of consumers to choose and control their services and their ability to function independently. And so the study sought to use a client-centered, occupation-based intervention to help clients with mental illness at risk for homelessness learn and retain specific life skills. The methodology included allowing each participant to choose the modules in which they would partake. Modules included money management, food management, room and self-care, and safe community participation. The results indicated that the participants significantly improved their life skills and retained these skills 6 months later as a result of the occupation-based intervention and their ability to exercise choice. In this example, the intervention was designed to meet the needs of a specific group of individuals. Activities were further tailored to each person's needs. The gaps in specific areas were closely using real-life activities. They were tailoring the material to the participants so they could refer to that. And persistent follow-up really helped to measure retention and satisfaction with the process. One of the most important findings of this study, and keep this in mind because it's very important, was that people decompensated when they were undergoing transitions. The authors acknowledge that this is an important factor for OT to be aware of, because most of the time we see people in the midst of a transition in their lives. This study adds to our growing body of strong evidence that can be used to demonstrate the value of occupational therapy when promoting our services. In order to effectively respond to consumers' needs, we have to have, and I quote, a true and deep understanding of who they are, what they want, and what they aspire to be. The good news is that occupational therapy is and always will be consumer-centric. The history of promoting occupational therapy can be viewed through the use of words, images, and actions. And for the next section of this lecture, I'm going to highlight an abridged version of these examples throughout the United States history of our profession with some international illustrations. A side note, I got totally lost in the history of our profession. It is a rich history, and if we had 2 more hours for this lecture, I could go. So I'm sure you're happy that this is abridged. Promoting the profession was a key value from our onset. Our membership organization was named the National Society for the Promotion of Occupational Therapy because, as George E. Barton remarked, we should be perceived as Johnny on the spot. Dr. William Dunton Jr. was the first chairperson of the Committee on Finance, Publicity, and Promotion. In 1921, our association's name was changed to the American Occupational Therapy Association because, as Dr. Herbert Hall felt, these words were crisper. In addition, we were taking initiatives to align ourselves with local and national associations such as the American Hospital Association and service groups like the Junior League. These attempts were extremely practical because our association had limited funds, which limited publicity efforts. It was clear, though, that from our very onset, our professional association and its leaders have been concerned with spreading awareness of what we do and shaping how we are perceived by the public. Eleanor Clark Slagle believed that the best way to promote occupational therapy was by networking. She would be a super fan on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And I bet she'd have a Pinterest site.
Oh.